All right, if I lived in Northwest Portland, what would that actually look like? Today, I'm gonna show you. I actually do live in Northwest Portland, about 90 blocks that way, up and over the hill. So when I'm talking about Northwest Portland, I'm talking about right in the heart of the city, in the Pearl District and in Nob Hill, where all the action is going on. So if you wanna see what Northwest Portland is all about, stay tuned to learn more. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Paul Clem with the Oregon Relocation Team coming to you from Northwest Portland today, specifically Nob Hill and the Pearl District. We're gonna go around town, we're gonna take a look at what it might look like actually living in this neighborhood. A lot of people moving to Portland want to be in the mix. They want to be in a true Portland neighborhood that has all the entertainment, all the restaurants, the walkability, the shops, all that good stuff. And the further you get out west, the further you get out east or south, or north, the less maybe true Portland feel you're going to get. You're going to get more suburban. Obviously, there's a ton of areas throughout Portland and throughout the metro area that are great on their own merits, but I know for a lot of people relocating to the area, they are wanting to be in an area where they're going to get a true Portland feel. So in this video, we're going to look at Northwest Portland specifically, which remains one of the most popular destinations for people relocating to the city. Now, if this is your first time to the channel or you've been here and you haven't already and you want to get more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button, tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. And we've helped so many people relocate to Portland and move to the Portland metro area. As real estate professionals, we love to help with that process. So if that's you, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video, schedule a Zoom call with us, we can talk all about it. Let's go check out Northwest. If I lived in Nob Hill, you might catch me in a cool contemporary building like this, kind of a condo situation, or you might find me right next door in an old historical home that probably has some really nice renovations, because you're gonna find a lot of that around here. I might be living in a place that looks like this. Now, I actually did live in the Nob Hill area right off Northwest 23rd here, in this blue house. I lived there like in my mid-20s with 6 other people. It was a wild and crazy time. Certainly not something I would do nowadays, but living in this area, being able to walk right down to 23rd or 21st and have all these restaurants and coffee shops and all the entertainment that's around here right at your doorstep, unbeatable. If I lived in Northwest Portland, I might be walking around the neighborhood and just stumble upon a little goat pasture. Now, if I wanted to live in Northwest Portland, I might find me a little opportunity like this. It's gonna cost an arm and a leg, maybe not to get into it, but to fix it up and get it to where it needs to be. There's a lot of opportunities like this with some of these older homes. A lot of them have been fixed up. A lot of them have been remodeled to the nines, but you can get some opportunities where you can make one your own. All right, so down here in the Pearl District, you have a totally different look and totally different aesthetic. If I lived in the Pearl District, I would be spending a lot of time at the Fields Park here. It looks like over 50% of it is being reseeded, or they're doing some work here, so you just have a little patch of grass. Got a little dog park area down here, but there's a lot of dogs here off leash too, just running around. But you can see these big high-rise condo buildings, obviously a much different feel and much different aesthetic, separated by 10 or 12 blocks. But it's really nice to still, in kind of a concrete jungle type environment, have some green space to be able to get to. Living in the Pearl doesn't mean you can't get up to Wallace Park in Northwest or off 25th. Also doesn't mean you can't get up to Forest Park very easily too. We'll check this out in a second, but living in the Pearl, you can get right down to the waterfront where there's this big long pathway. Great for going on walks, great for going on to jog, taking your dog for a walk, taking out the stroller, whatever you want to do. So there is still a lot of great access to get outside living in the Pearl District. Now, if I lived in Northwest Portland and lived in Nob Hill, I might end up in one of these really cool old Victorian homes like this. Beautiful architecture, beautifully maintained. You see a really ton of awesome old architecture here in this neighborhood. Obviously down in the Pearl District, you're going to be in condos and high rises, maybe some townhomes, things like that, but much more of a modern upscale feel in some ways, where you are kind of steeped in the history here in this west side of Northwest, up around Nob Hill. If I lived in Northwest Portland in the Pearl District, well, I actually kind of did. I used to live right here at McCormick Pier, right on the waterfront, but you are close to where 9th intersects with NATO, and you go on 9th into the Pearl, and you're right in there by the Fields Park, where I just was. So you kind of have this back door into the Pearl District. So I didn't technically live in the Pearl. Chinatown and Old Town is kind of a buffer between here and the rest of the Pearl District, but I did live nearby, and I tell you what, the Pearl District is one of the coolest little urban entertainment areas in Portland for sure. I've been in a lot of cities around the country, and it's definitely a very approachable little entertainment nightlife type area. It's very residential. You have all these high-rise buildings. You have a lot of restaurants that maybe skew a little bit nicer. You don't really have as many of the dive bars. You have more like kind of upscale dining, cocktail bars, things like that. I always kind of felt like if I was going to go out in the Pearl District, I kind of have to put like a button-up shirt on or something like that. It's not pretentious or stuffy necessarily. It just has kind of a nicer feel to it. So, when you go to a restaurant in the Pearl, or you're going to go meet somebody around there, you feel like you kind of rise to the occasion a little bit. It just feels a little bit more like kind of a nicer area. But again, the Pearl District and Nob Hill are just separated by a handful of blocks, with I-405 going right down the middle. Once you cross that freeway in either direction, you really are in a different world. If I lived in Northwest Portland, I would take note of how this neighborhood is changing with Slabtown right here, basically the convergence of the Pearl District to some degree and Nob Hill, where you have kind of the old and historic and the new and urban kind of city living down in the Pearl. You get a lot of that here in Slabtown. So Slabtown is just an extension going north on Northwest 23rd and 21st, but you have a lot of apartments, you have some condos, but there's a lot of great amenities built in here too now. You have really great restaurants. There's a New Seasons, which is a really great local grocery store. So there's a lot to like living in Slabtown, or at least if you're in Northwest, you have Slabtown at your doorstep. If you're looking to buy something in Northwest Portland, a lot of apartment living down here. Now, if I was going to live in a condo in Nob Hill, it's probably going to be in an old, historic, 100-year-old building. Do you want to check one out? Let's go. Now, this particular so this particular unit is almost 750 square feet, 2 bedrooms, listed at $249,000. So that is a screaming deal. To be able to have 2 bedrooms under $250,000 in this neighborhood is really a bargain. Not just what you're getting for your dollar, but also the fact that you have the 2 bedrooms here. So if you are looking to downsize, if you are a first-time buyer, if you are a young professional, if you are an investor, the fact that this is 2 bedrooms means that it's going to command a much higher rent than a lot of single-level units, which in this price range, $200,000 to $250,000, you're going to find studios and 1-bedroom units. So this particular unit is very special for that reason. This one is listed by Victoria Buck and Michael Green with Stellar Realty Northwest. Definitely one that if I had clients who were looking for a condo, in particular in a old historic building in Northwest, I would definitely take them to this one. So if I lived in the Pearl District, I would definitely be down here for First Thursday. They shut all these streets down and have a big old party the first Thursday of the month, so that's a lot of fun. A lot of this stretch of 13th here also is closed permanently for outdoor seating for restaurants and bars and things like that. So these are all like old loading docks. This was a very industrial area before, maybe about 25 or 30 years ago, it started to turn around a little bit. If I lived in Northwest Portland, you would catch me at Wallace Park all the time. You got this nice big open field here, You've got the dog park, basketball courts, playgrounds, and this is where Chapman Elementary School is. If you lived anywhere in this Nob Hill or Pearl District area, your kids are going to go to Chapman here, if they're going to public school at least. Wallace Park, incredible place to spend an afternoon. Has a little bit of history with Bill Walton. In fact, recently there's been discussion of renaming it Walton Park because Bill Walton, if you don't know, trailblazer legend, league MVP, NBA champion, when he played for Portland, lived in this neighborhood and would come up here and play basketball all the time.
Good health food, okay?
Yeah.
Let's go. Beautiful stroke. Look at this. A lot of potential, a lot of promise.
So he'd, play pickup games with people in the neighborhood. So there's been some talk about naming it Walton Park, but definitely one of the best parks in the city right here in Northwest Portland. If I lived in Northwest Portland, I'd probably still get to a dive bar every now and again. And if you're talking about Northwest Portland, you're talking about Joe's Cellar, the diviest of dive bars in Northwest Portland. And now, right on the doorstep of Slabtown. Now, if I lived in Northwest Portland, one of the things that I don't miss about living down here is being up against this train. You can be stopped for a really long time waiting for this train to pass. It goes across the steel bridge, and then it's gonna cross right here on NATO, and then it's gonna cross down there on 9th as well. So if you are closer into the water in Northwest Portland, you're gonna be up against this train one way or another. If I lived in Northwest Portland, I would definitely take advantage of all the great public transportation, in particular the streetcar, which is going to take you around downtown. It can take you to the inner east side, take you down to South Waterfront. It can take you to the Max stops as well, so if you want to get out further, at least using light rail, you can definitely do that. Portland has great public transportation as it is, so there's bus stops all around too, but just being able to take the streetcar going around town is definitely something that's very convenient about living here. Well, I've been ripping around on this little scooter all afternoon going around Northwest Portland, and this train really derailed my plan. No pun intended. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to go film the rest of the Pearl District. I know this whole video has been a little frenetic probably up to this point, trying out a new idea, but I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about the Pearl District, and then we can just wrap this thing up. So if I were gonna live in the Pearl District, I would definitely take advantage of all the great entertainment and shopping and restaurants that the neighborhood has to offer. And I think there really is a distinct difference between Nob Hill and the Pearl District in terms of what you're gonna get. And some of that is just aesthetically. Up in Nob Hill, all the restaurants and everything are in kind of cool old historic buildings, tighter spaces, more quaint in that way. In the Pearl, you have newer, more modern looking places overall. So I already mentioned that if I were gonna live in the Pearl District, I'm probably going to live in a condo building. That's really just about all you can get in the Pearl. You can also get some really cool row houses and townhomes. Those are going to skew on the higher side in terms of price. The condo market overall in Portland is really great. So there's a lot of good opportunities on the condo side to get some really good deals. We can talk more about why that is, but again, if I'm living in the Pearl District, I'm probably living in a condo, and I'm definitely taking advantage of the walkability. So being able to walk to the corner to get a coffee, being able to access all the great restaurants and entertainment. There's great breweries in the Pearl District, so there's no shortage of places to go eat, places to go get a drink, places to get coffee. You also have a lot of great shopping, in particular around where Powell's Bookstore is. And of course, I should mention Powell's Bookstore. That's a place that, even as a Portland local, Portland native, I would definitely go to at least a few times a year. It's a really cool bookstore, definitely packed with tourists. It's definitely a place that's always busy, very bustling, but it's also very impressive. If you like books, if you like to go shop around for books, it's a pretty cool experience. So you have Providence Park right across Burnside, so if you want to get to Timbers games. You've got the Moda Center right over there. When I used to live here, more on the waterfront, not quite in the heart of the Pearl District, but still in the area, I used to walk to Blazer games, and from the Pearl District, you can hop onto this red bridge right here. That's the Broadway Bridge, and walk straight to the Moda Center and go check out a Blazer game or a concert or any number of the events that they do at the Moda Center or the Memorial Coliseum right there throughout the year. So very walkable and a ton of stuff very accessible from anywhere you would live in the Pearl District. So if you think living in Northwest Portland is something that you might be interested in, if you want to learn more about Northwest or areas on the east side that are going to have a similar feel, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video. Schedule a Zoom call with us, we can talk all about it. If this video was helpful, make sure to hit the like button, that helps us out a lot. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel, tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. As always, we really appreciate you watching. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.